Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. I skipped a day. Yesterday I was kind of a little bit sick with the flu bug, but I'm here today. And today is Wednesday the 10th, the 11th. So I thought today we would talk about what's more important, price or how you treat your customer. And also how to get your customer base up, because that's the key to business sense, everything. Most people think it's price. It's not price. I mean, I've seen guys start charging stupid numbers and working steady, and see guys that are half the cost, they can't get to work. So you never want to run your business on price alone. I can understand it for you guys that are in the lawn care business or something where you're bidding contracts, or you guys that are in the building trade where you go in and you have to submit contracts, submit bids and stuff to even get a shot at it. You are trying to get as low as what you can get, but also you have to make a profit. It's not enough just to keep your guys working. You guys got to make money at it. So let's go from there. So I've talked about before, about our shop, and that we did up our labor rate after we're talking with you guys to, it's $55 an hour for lawnmowers, lawn and garden, and $65 for farm tractors. That's still less than half the going rate in our area for either. I think the farm tractors right now are running $130, $135 at your dealerships, and the other shops in the area that are a legit business are charging anywhere from $85 and up. So you're not going to win on price alone. A lot of people look at price, and if they see that you're a lot cheaper than everybody else, they're worried that you won't do as good a job as the other ones. And that can be the case sometimes. People that do shoddy work end up lowering their price per hour to stay competitive as far as to keep business coming in. But if they continue to do terrible work, it doesn't matter what they charge. And it was like I was telling you here a couple of videos back about looking at mentoring a 40-year-old in the general contracting business and stuff. And he is running less than your average contractors. But in this area right now, most contractors that I know of that have their own enclosed trailer with tools and all that stuff and their business name on, they're busy as hell. And pretty quick, those guys are going to go interior, where they do the cabinetries and all that stuff, where it's inside, where it's warm. But he's not. So I asked him, I said, why don't you have a line of customers wanting to have you do work? He said, I do. But he said, right now they're all waiting on money. Well, you can't just stop. If they're all waiting on money, you need to go out and find work that somebody does have the money. And looking around, there's a lot of people that do have the money that are looking for contractors. But I also told you that I did a quick Google search, and 4 negative reviews come right up fast. I'm like, that's not good. I can see that 1 or 2 that no matter what you do, you're not going to please them. But the one that made me laugh the hardest was that the crew showed up and needed to borrow the husband's tools because they didn't have any tools with them. Now, that was one of his crews that he sent there, but that's still on him, right? He's the boss. He's the one that tells people, and no matter whether you're a mechanic or you're a carpenter, general contractor, what have you, some make the employees supply their own tools, personal tools, and some, like me, rather buy the tool, have it here, so if something happens where one of my mechanics leaves, the tool's here for the other mechanics. That's the way I look at it. So like in our area, why am I cheaper than everybody else? Well, it's because I don't have the overhead that everybody else has got. All right? I have friends that are running other shops, they own other shops, and they either have a mortgage or their lease on their building. They have more employees than I have. They are selling new lawn and garden where I'm not, so they got a floor plan, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not trying to make excuses for them. I'm just saying that that's what the profit end, they have to be up there just to walk away with something in their pocket at the end of the year, whereas I don't have a mortgage or a lease. I don't have any of those overheads. The only overheads I've got are accountants, employees, and restocking stuff here. That's it. But what I can tell you is if you polled my customers right now, take 100 of them, I would dare say it'd be 98, 99% are very pleased with the work we do and they can't believe that we're doing it for this little bit. That one of the things that we're blessed with sometimes is that our customers have gone to the other shops and had just a general service and charged twice as much as what we charge. So when they get our bill, they're relieved and happy because it wasn't as much. But you can't do it on price alone, as I was saying. So not only are they relieved in that, but that's where I step in, and with great customer service. And it's always, what can I do for you? How can I help you solve a problem? If I can help you solve a problem, I'm done my job. And we do have a lot of women customers, and what I hear from most of them are they kind of get talked down to from the shops, like they don't know anything. And I am very good at putting stuff in layman's terms, no matter what degree of knowledge you have on the back end. I will make you understand quickly what we did, and keep you part of it as far as how long you want to be part of it, right straight through all the steps. And that we'll never put any more money into a machine than we wouldn't put into our own. That's our golden rule here. If I wouldn't put it in my own machine at that cost, why would I do it to a customer? So that's part of the reason that we're cheaper. But we also have great customer service. We treat every customer like a king because we know that they're valuable to us. They're hard to get. And if we can retain a customer, it's cheaper to retain a customer than it is to go find a new one. That's another thing you're going to learn in business, especially when I did the online business. We really weren't, that big on whether they were a returning customer or not. But then I started looking at how we were advertising, where we were spending our money and stuff, and that popped up, like in big, bright letters. It's okay to focus on trying to get new customers in, but you need to have something in plan to retain your old ones so that you're building on that and not just one-offs, that they show up once and you never see them again. So if we look at great customer service and price, what do you think is more important? To me, great customer service has to come first. And like I was saying in the beginning, that I know people in other industries that are charging crazy money for a product that they're selling. And they're selling it because they have great customer service. Even though there's 10 other ones that are half the price. But they haven't developed that sense of good customer service. And sometimes you have to go from good to great. And it's all about learning and evolving. Becoming good at customer service is not for everyone. I'll tell you right now. And it's something that you're always learning. And it's different for each customer. You have some customers that you have to assure that they are not being taken advantage of, and do it right up front. And if they want to be involved every step of the way, when we buy a filter for a belt for, I'll do it. If that will help ease their stress of dealing with us, I'll do it. It's like, I grew up with a bunch of guys that their dad had a John Deere dealership, and all the boys stayed with the dealership and assumed certain roles, okay? And one of the things that I noticed right off the bat while I was sitting there waiting for parts or what have you is they knew everybody by a first name basis. And I'm thinking, these guys have got thousands of customers, but yet they can remember everybody's name. I just figured that they remember my name because I'm infamous, not famous, infamous. But they knew my name because we grew up together. But I asked one of the boys, I said, how is it that you guys can remember all these people's names? And he said, that's one thing Dad taught us when we were young, is you have to have good customers. And the way to have good customers is to show that you're willing to put forth the effort so that when they walk through that door, you know exactly who it is. So he said we would sit down, we'd go through the list and just try to memorize. And then finally, we figured out a method to remember everybody's names. For most of the customers coming through, it was a first name basis only. And for probably half, it was a first and last. I mean, even their parts people are learning people's names. That's the key to retaining customers, is because you feel like they value you if they took the time to remember my name. And for new customers that have bought something and then come back a couple weeks later and they all know their name, that is telling that customer that they are valued. So I guess the main thing I'm just trying to say is that everything isn't based on price. Price has a certain part to it, but great customer service will win the day out. And don't misunderstand me. I had one young lady I had to terminate because she didn't understand what great customer service was. Her thought pattern was, if I keep everybody happy, then that's great customer service. And that's to a certain point. But when you start telling the customer what they want to hear instead of what is actually taking place, that's not a good idea. like I say, undersell, over deliver. That's the key. And what she was doing was she was telling customers, promising them that all these extra stuff were going to be done that could have been done if the price was higher, but she didn't want to tell the customer no. And right down to parts, she say we had them and we didn't have them. Rule number 1 is never lie to a customer. Nope. Always be honest. They will respect you for it. It is what it is. And you can do it with great customer service and still make them feel like, I mean, they did come out as a winner because they paid less. They got higher value from what they paid. We over-delivered so that we went above and beyond what we said in our service and told them we did this or did this, no charge, blah, blah, blah. Customer's happy. If you tell a customer, yeah, we replaced the battery and we did the oil filter and the oil filter is the same that was on it when it came in and the battery is the same that it was on when it came in, that's being dishonest. And like I told you once, that we had a customer come in and on the bottom of his battery he had his initials in white marker paint. And we had to replace the belt down there, so we had to take the battery out anyways, a drive belt. And I'm looking at the bottom of the battery and wondering, why did this guy put his initials on it? So we got it all back together and got it done. And the customer came to pick up the machine. We told him exactly what we did and what we had to do. And I said, why are your initials on the bottom of your battery? So he went into a story about going to a different repair shop with that lawnmower. And the repair shop told him that the battery wouldn't hold a charge, so they had to replace it with a new one. The problem is, he had that battery marked on the bottom. So he didn't think anything of it. And one day he happened to take that battery out and his initials were still on it. So he knew right then and there that they had not replaced that battery after they said that they had. And they charged him for a new battery that they never put in. They just cleaned up the old battery and made it look like it was new. And probably that shop has done it not only to him but to many people, which is very dishonest. See, you can't lie to yourself or lie to God. That's how I look at it. And you know when you're being dishonest and disingenuous. And neither one of those comes into play when it comes to running a business. I mean, we've all met people that could sell a freezer to an Eskimo in the middle of the winter. I got a brother that can do that. And that's not being honest with a customer. He says it is because the customer might need that freezer in the summer. Well, but we've all seen these people, these infomercials, and you hear them on the radio where they'll have their spiel and then they'll talk really fast at the end, or they're this disclaimer that they aren't what they say they are and that they're selling a product. You don't want that for your business, because they're only going to end up with one-offs. And we've talked about one-offs before. As once you screw a customer, you will never see them back again. And they will tell everybody else and their neighbor that you screwed them. It's kind of like politicians. Politicians will promise you the world. And then what happens? They get into office. And now all these promises that they made, well, I didn't really mean it, or it's harder than I thought it was going to be, or, making excuses. No, you were selling yourself to get in there in the first place, and you had no intention of fulfilling any of those promises. It was talking points of what you thought that the American people would want to hear to get you into that office. Now, we can all fight over Donald Trump. Good, bad, the ugly. But one thing I will say to his favor is he went in there and he did everything that he said he was going to do. And that was very refreshing to a lot of us that over the years we're just like, that's why the politicians have an approval rating in the teens, because they aren't doing what they should be doing, what they promised they would do. And Trump upheavaled a lot of people up in Washington because he wasn't doing the norm of what they normally do. He wasn't catering to lobbyists because he had the money. He had become independently wealthy on his own. He didn't need their money. So they couldn't sway him. And he even took his salary and gave it to the veterans, the VA. But if I want you to remember anything about this video today, it's that you need to be honest with your customer, and good customer service is a must. But the biggest thing that I want you to remember is if you can take and provide a solution for your customer, then they will keep coming back. That's it. Doesn't matter what business you're in. If you have a customer that has a problem and you know how to make that problem go away because you have the solution and you're reasonable on price, you will stay busy. And that's one of the key words if you have customers come into your shop and stuff. How can I help you? What's going on with you today? And start remembering who they are and their names. At least their first name. And that goes for your parts people, if you have a parts counter and stuff like that. Mechanics less. But the people you have out in front, have them start to try to remember people's names as they walk in and who they are. You never want to be dishonest to a customer. Never. Honesty, they will respect you. So that goes to the second part of how do we get and retain new customers? And the biggest way that I know of is through word of mouth. And that could be simply of asking your customers if they could put a good word into you for you to other customers, that you could use extra customers. And we've had customers, still have customers, that are referring a lot of people to us because they call us the hidden gem. They didn't know we were here. That's going to be your cheapest way to get new customers, is simply asking your old customers if they could kind of spread the word a little bit for you. And if you find that they're bringing in a lot of new customers, give them a break on their bill. You don't need to pay them for bringing those customers in. They're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. But you can cut them some slack on the bill too, to show your appreciation and definitely thank them firsthand when you see them, how grateful you are that they pass your name out to other people. The other way is advertising. Now, if you are floor planning, a lot of the manufacturers slash distributors offer co-op, and that means you pay for part of the advertising and they pay for the bulk of it. So if you're selling Cub Cadet will co-op so much into an ad as long as the ad represents Cub Cadet tractors, lawnmowers, and then have your name there. And a lot of times, a lot of these companies have got their own ads, and they just put the dealer's name in there or a flash of the dealer, because they're paying for the bulk of the commercial. So there's a couple other ways that you can get more customers, new customers in the door too. And the one way is to simply go to like Vistaprint and have them make up a bunch of business cards for you. And also take the time and develop a brochure of what you offer with prices and so forth, or call, and then go door to door, or hire somebody to go door to door, or even better, pay the post office to deliver that to each resident in your area, and they will do that. And then the other way that I've used in the past that's worked really well is, I think I told you guys that, like with Facebook, I have a personal account, and I think there's right around 268 on my friends list. And then I have a business account for Northern New York Parts, and that's got over 6,000, 5,000 some hundred. Now, what you can do is, I notice that most of them on the business side are from far away, that I've dealt with in the past through the online sales and stuff like that have come directly to us to ask for stuff. But if you're looking to get local people in your door, then sometimes it doesn't hurt to just post on your own account, your personal account, that kind of doing a shout out, blah, blah, blah. Appreciate any help I can get, but I like to get some more customers. We could use more customers. You know, word it in a way that people want to help you. And I did that. The first time I did that, and I had like 160, 170 shares. And what am I saying by shares? I'm saying that the people on my friends list not only liked and saw the post, the video, but they also were compelled to share it to their friends list. And I've got friends that have got thousands of friends on their Facebook account. So that person there, when they shared on their account, it posted it to all their friends. So you're reaching a wide audience in the local area. And all that takes is time to produce the video and to come across as being genuine and really asking for their help. If you don't come across as being genuine, or you're just spamming using your personal account, people will not share or not like. They just will flip away. So let's start wrapping this up. You know, it's been a lot of different things discussed and everything, but it still holds true that, you know, provide a solution and you will work as long as your price is reasonable. Good customer service is, I'll take that any day over a lower price. I want to be treated well. You know, don't do shoddy work. always undersell, over deliver. And when it comes to getting customers and retaining customers, it's cheaper to retain customers than it is to try to get new ones. So you always want to make sure the ones that are coming to your shop are continually coming to your shop when they have a need and you have the solution. But you want to keep building your base. And most people out there are looking for growth, even in this economy. And everything that I've said in this video will help you grow. Great customer service isn't for everybody. And it's not telling everybody in your life everything you think they want to hear. You can get some new customers by simply using your Facebook account. You can use the post office. You can do door-to-door and introduce yourself. And there's also some Facebook community groups that you can join that will allow you to post every so often, just to kind of keep your name out there. So you guys have a great Wednesday. Today I'm just going to kind of stay inside where it's warm. You see I'm wearing a jacket. It's terrible. It's cold chills, everything. Stomach bug. And we'll see you tomorrow. What I'm going to do, just like I've asked we talked about in the video, is if you like what we have here, please like. And if you could, to help grow the channel, if you could share it to your friends, that would be great. So on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you here tomorrow morning. I apologize for not being here yesterday morning to get the video up. All right, you guys have a great day.